The Pirates celebrated winning the draft lottery in 2023 like some teams celebrate championships. Paul Skenes is great, don't get me wrong. But he's brought change that the team didn't expect. And that's next on Locked On Pirates.
You are Locked On Pirates, your daily Pittsburgh Pirates podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Hi, I'm Gary Morgan, host of Locked On Pirates, and today we're going to talk about how Paul Skenes changed this team in ways that you maybe haven't thought about. Some sharp comments from Cutch, and what this management group would have to get done to keep their jobs. And I mean, like, so much so that they end up coming back in 2026. I know earmuffs if it's not the type of racy content you can handle on your YouTube channel. In fact, I hope my advertisements go through. Let's start with Paul Skenes, because he really did change everything. I think a lot about that gif that went around of the whole brain trust of the Pirates celebrating in that little room when they did the draft lottery and Washington came up number 2 and they knew that they had secured the number 1 pick overall. We didn't even necessarily know who we were picking yet. You just knew it was going to be Paul Skenes, Dylan Cruz. Maybe you were a Wyatt Langford person. Point is, they were excited about something that a lot of teams probably don't get that excited for. It's a big moment, but it's also not a championship. This was very much so a championship celebration. If you need a memory jumpstart, check out the picture that's the cover of the YouTube show today. It'll remind you. It'll come rushing back. Derek Shelton sitting there like a sad puppy. I think a lot about that scene in the Pirates war room a few years back, waiting to hear results for the draft lottery. And I don't know, man. They had no idea they were drafting the end of the free ride. They drafted the very pressure that ultimately is crushing them. I mean, they were elated that they were about to select what almost everyone saw as a transformative generational player. They were right. But they had no clue it also would end their free ride with the public patience, or that he would bring with him pressure to compete that they've rarely been forced to confront. The national spotlight was suddenly shined on an area MLB happily ignores, Pittsburgh. And, well, Pittsburgh forgot how nice it was hiding in obscurity. How easy it was to hide behind their inability to spend like the big boys. And then all of a sudden, boom, here's this $600 million gift dropped in your lap. They could no longer pretend because they couldn't sign something like that on the open market that they were stuck, hoping and praying they could scrape together enough talent to get in. Well, they got that talent, and they don't have to pay anywhere near $600 million for him to provide those services for the next 6 or 7 years. That's supposed to be the small market dream. Instead, they essentially took that miracle and pretended it was like the polio vaccine was supposed to cure everything from cancer to AIDS. It's not going to fix everything just because you got that. Now they have fans who haven't been watching in quite some time, drawn in by this freak show. National media who haven't paid attention in an even longer period of time. Here they are now. They've got something to say. And the Pirates didn't do anything to surround this gift. One star doesn't make you competitive, especially one star who pitches every 5th day. Fans saw their flaw in thinking almost immediately and started calling them out on it. National media, who know the limitations this team has, even if they won't admit it freely, jumped on to add their 2 cents about what this team could have done. Thing is, when that scene occurred, no matter how good they thought Skenes was going to be, no matter how good they thought anybody was going to be, nobody predicted whoever they picked was going to get to the All-Star game and start the very next year after being drafted. They were caught with their pants down. So my question is basically, knowing that, why didn't you buy a belt this offseason? Why didn't you try to put your pants back on? The truth is, they, meaning the team, weren't ready for the firestorm that came with him. From a system development standpoint, they weren't ready. From a financial investment standpoint, they weren't ready. Even from a place of understanding how the landscape would shift, they missed out. They weren't prepared for the payroll to jump like that. They just were planning to go up marginally in 2025. And instead of realizing Paul Skenes requires a change in your plan that you've established, probably before he even transferred to LSU, they figured, well, fans will get it. They'll be happy with just improving. And how could we not with this guy? Wrong. Fans weren't ready either. Pirates fans have had exactly one player like this, Garrett Cole. He was good. He had huge expectations, but he didn't start like this at all. The first thing fans thought here in Pittsburgh when Paul got drafted was, what year will we trade him? It's so hard to trust the process when the process hasn't worked. And you know, based on experience, that extending this guy was going to be a pipe dream before he even threw a pitch. Before he heard one sell the team chant while he's pitching. You know? He hasn't brought the excitement that the organization thought he would, mostly because they can't dispute it comes with an end date. And even if they could, we know it's fairly likely they won't. They can't fix everything here. It's just not on the table in this league. It's not structured like that. But were they to do something out of character, like find a way to extend him 5 or 6 years beyond arbitration, do the deferral thing that all these other teams are doing, find a way to like get him to ink for the majority, maybe fans would at least start to understand that it doesn't have to be done right this second and buy them some patience. That's the only way they could really get out of the situation they've created for themselves. Otherwise, they better put their foot on the gas and get moving. Skenes changed the game here in Pittsburgh, both literally and figuratively. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the last player that did that, Andrew McCutchen. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. All right, welcome back to Locked On Pirates. Hey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, toss me a like. The comments were off the hook for yesterday's show. You guys went nuts. I think I had 25 in or something a couple hours after the show. I mean, and got to sit here in the afternoon and just reply to them all. It was really, really good. Some really good feedback in there too. Some things I didn't think of. So again, that's why I love the comments, because it's not fun to think on your own. I want to banter, throw me stuff that I haven't heard of before. I love that. So Andrew McCutchen was asked by a gaggle of reporters the other day. I think Jose from DK Pittsburgh Sports led the charge. Kevin Gorman was there from the Trib. But they asked him basically, what do you think about, like, when you hear the chance of sell the team or the boos for the manager and teammates? They asked him some other questions too, but this was the first one, and he had a really, really interesting quote. And I'm going to read it verbatim because it's Andrew McCutchen, and he doesn't talk like this very often. He certainly doesn't expand on comments very often. So here we go. I understand where they're coming from. I've been here long enough so I get it. Sunday morning before the Pirates played the Cleveland Guardians in the finale of the 6-game homestand is when these questions were answered. So this was before they even lost that last game. I just hate it for the guys who haven't been a part of it and haven't been here for very long. They're like, man, these people seem pretty upset. You have to go out there and try to perform and do well when there's this cloud over the team. Obviously, everyone is trying their best. It's tough when you've got sell the team chants going on and you're trying to compete and do well. It's just hard, no matter what. You've got all that going on around you while you're trying to focus on doing one thing well. And it's hard to filter out the negative and focus on yourself at the moment. It's tough. Now you've got guys who don't play every day showing up in the lineup with that cloud over them. It becomes a challenge. The game's challenging in itself. But when you're dealing with a lot of fans who seem to be fed up with the way things are going, it makes it a little more challenging. All we can do is try our best as a club to try to block it out and try to win the ball game. But I can't control what they do, how they feel. I understand. I mean, so I've got a couple thoughts here before we go on to the next question that he answered, which I thought was interesting. First, Andrew has expressed the part of this whole thing I've hated most, and that's the effect it has on the players, many of which have done nothing wrong but get acquired by the Pirates. Cutch spends a lot of time trying to convince the room that this is a great place to spend a career and show that the fans' love is undying if you do things the right way here as a player. I'm guessing he doesn't try all that hard to convince anyone after a good chant-filled game. I'll leave it there for now. Maybe I'll talk a little more after I read the next one. This is on lineup changes, which I think interests most of you because I think that's probably the number one complaint that I see. Heck, maybe 10 of those comments I just got yesterday morning were about this. You have to be consistent in every way, McCutchen said. I don't know what that entails for us, but I know you're going to constantly have lineup changes, and that's what we seem to like to do here. We have a lot of lineup changes. It's not necessarily the same lineup every day. I think it's just the more consistency we can find in the lineup, and if it's possible that we're able to do it and we get some guys, I know that some guys are injured, get them back. Maybe that's an opportunity to be more consistent as a lineup. As of right now, we just have to work with what we have and go out there and try to get the job done. That's all you can do as players and as individuals is to try to do your job. It's a lot easier said than done. That's what we have to do. Wow. The frustration fans have expressed over the past handful of seasons in regard to this subject, finally expressed by someone in that room. Finally, someone who isn't happy to be sitting and vocal about it. Finally, a player speaking to the importance of consistency in a lineup. I'm not saying Cutch has open beef with Shelton, but this is very much so shots fired. He's a player who has directly impacted this owner to change things in the past, and I have no doubt he understands the power of his words here. More than anything, congratulations, everybody. You aren't crazy for hating the constantly changing lineups. Cutch just confirmed it's a problem for him as well. He's one of the very few in that room who have earned the right to speak to it. This has a better chance of spawning change than any chant or sign in the ballpark. It's also why, despite playing tough competition on this upcoming trip, getting on the road all the way across the country from Pittsburgh, maybe even playing too late to have fans notice, well, it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing for this club. They might get more cheers on the road than they do at home. That's on them, but it's kind of on us too. They've made the roster not good enough. We've made home feel like enemy territory for guys who, again, did nothing but get acquired. That's probably not fair that we've treated them that way. I'm with Cutch. Man, I understand it. I do. I have sympathy for the people that do this stuff. I'm actually, in many ways, I have respect for them because they've done more than just complain. They've put their money to it. They've put their energy to it. They've put their time to it. They care about this baseball team. They want change to happen. And I don't have to like what it does to the players, though. And I don't. I don't have to like the faces that I see. I don't have to like the uncomfortable questions that Paul Skenes gets about it. You know, all he does is go out and shove for 7 innings, and then he's got to listen to, well, how did you feel about basically everybody saying that the team needs sold after you left the game and everything? I mean, how's he going to react? How do you think he's going to feel? He's going to feel like crap. He's going to feel like he's letting you down. He probably feels like he's letting himself down. And he didn't do anything. He pitched 7 innings of pretty clean ball. He didn't pitch a shutout. F him. Right? I mean, guys, there is a real human factor here. I think one of the things that I've always liked about being a fan of a smaller market city is the accessibility to the players. I've been around the whole country. I travel a lot for work. Always have. Not so much lately, but I have. I've seen a lot of other cities. I've been to, I think, all but 3 ballparks now. So, I mean, like, I've kind of experienced what those fans are like, too. And don't get me wrong, I'm not catching them at a bad time, and a lot of them haven't had it as hard as we have. But I can tell you don't have the access to players like we do here in a whole lot of places. It's a special town, and if you get adopted by this city, we'll never let you go. Even after you move on, we'll never forget you. You'll always mean something to us. I don't want to lose what we as fans have become in an effort to try to make change at 115 Federal. First, I think your target is too high, and I think I told you that from the beginning. If you want change, ask Bob to eat money and get rid of everybody under him again, like he has before. Only this time, tell him to hire somebody smarter to do the hiring. Like, that's really more effective, if you ask me. This market's not going to spend a lot more, even if you got a different owner. I really mean that. And you can crunch all the numbers you want, and you can have Jeff Passan go up on ESPN and get on his cross and play martyr for all the other teams. But Jeff Passan knows this team has a cap. Whether there's a salary cap or a salary floor or whatever, this team has an area they can't go beyond. It's way higher than what the Pirates do. But it's not so much higher that they're going to be competing with everybody in the league like you're dreaming of. They're already sitting at $92 million right now. I had somebody yesterday come after me and say, this team isn't serious if they're not spending $100 million. Fine. But that's like a 4-year ago argument. They're spending $92 million now. You look at this team and you want to tell me $8 million and I'm looking at something different? I don't think so. I think you need $50 million. You need to get them up to Brewers territory. A new owner might do that. Might find a way to do that. I can see that in the realm of possibilities. I could even see Bob Nutting probably being able to stretch his wallet to that point at some point. But it isn't going to be overnight, and it ain't going to be because you flew a plane over something. It isn't going to be because you made 26 guys feel like crap for losing. It's not a great situation here in Pittsburgh, unfortunately. And all of this pressure came with Paul Skenes. Let's talk about more pressure. I want to take another break, and when I come back, I want to talk about what this management team would have to do to not only survive 2025, but make this team actually decide to bring them back in 2026. So, is there a path for this management team to somehow survive 2025 and even convince them to bring them back in 2024? Well, probably, but it's probably a lot like one of those like basketball trick shot videos you see on TikTok where you see this amazing unmakeable shot, but you don't see the 1,400 outtakes, behind that image. Is there a lane? Sure. But it's going to be hard to get there. I'm going to ask for things that I don't think they can do. In other words, I think we're probably looking at the very least the last season for Derek Shelton. And I'm just going to go through a list of things that I think you'd have to see in order for this team to wind up bringing their entire management team back in 2026. And if you are one of those people that thinks that it's more productive to root for the team to lose in order to get these guys fired, listen, you're welcome to do that. I'm not going to join you on that party. Rooting for my team to lose doesn't happen. I don't even do that when I think they're tanking. Okay. They have to best 500. It's not good enough. In fact, none of these are going to be good enough. I'm not doing this to make you happy. This is for tangibly what I think would have to be seen in order for Bob Nutting to be like, okay, let's run it back. They have to best 500. It's a bare minimum. I think there's a fair shot Shelton would still be replaced if that happened, and that's all they did. But if they don't get to this point, it's over, and probably all three of them are gone. So far, what Paul Skenes and Cutch have said, it's been fine. But it can't go a lot further than that. If it starts getting into openly questioning the roster or other players or even the efforts of some players, it'll be very hard to run it back next year. Don't finish in the bottom two of the division. As with like the first point, that's not good enough. But it could at least be painted as progress of some sort. The caveat here is I think they'd have to fall on their sword to a degree and admit they didn't have enough this year. They miscalculated. They'll do better. Problem is, this message would only have an effect on Nutting, not fans. So I doubt it helps. I think they have to have Henry Davis, Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones, Spencer Horwitz, Nick Gonzalez, those types of players. They got to make some noise this year. It's going to take that in order to have any possible chance fans see next year in a better light, because there's zero chance any of all you all are going to believe that they're going to go out and sign better next year. So it better start showing itself internally. Swing a big trade for lower level prospects. In other words, get something that helps for a couple of years and don't spend somebody that everyone has been screaming or pining for. Okay? If you wind up trading Bubba Chandler because you get desperate and you bring back garbage that helps for a year and barely, they're not going to forgive you. You probably won't be here to see how it turns out. This sounds simple, But Travis Williams can't have any more PR problems. And I don't mean the little blips that disgruntled fans try to blow out of proportion. I mean real dumb moves that embarrass the boss and hurt the fans. And you know the difference. So don't try to act like everything that we get upset about is the same level. It's like when you hate a restaurant and your friends want to meet there, you're going to have a bad time because something stupid like a wad of gum in the urinal is going to become rant worthy at the table. You get what I mean? Extend either O'Neal Cruz or Paul Skenes, and that's the end of the list. And honestly, that could probably be the hardest to pull off out of all of them for obvious reasons. People are most pissed off because you're wasting time with these guys, especially Paul Skenes, and they know damn well they'll be gone. So prove to them, at least on this, they're wrong. I'm sure I could come up with 20 more. But this list is already likely well beyond the reality of what they can actually happen. I already have them buried. I don't think I need to put another shovel full of dirt on top of them. The point is, as I started going through this, I started to kind of realize I don't know that I see a path for them to actually keep their jobs. And if you already feel that way, and it takes me longer than I would say normal fans. Let's just say that. I'm more patient than most people, at least when it comes to this sort of thing. And I try to stay pretty pragmatic. But I'm just looking at things, and I got to tell you, I'm not seeing a path, especially for Shelton. I think what this team would have to pull off in order for him to retain his job, I just don't see it in the cards. I just don't. I think you're going to need to see things he's never proven, that he can improve players that he has already, that he can win games where he probably shouldn't, and then he's got some kind of a killer instinct. You know how I know Derek Shelton isn't going to get us there? Because Derek Shelton goes into game 3 of a series down 0-2 and doesn't even play his best lineup. Doesn't even play his best player. The day before an off day. That list, well, that was fun for us. But they're never going to enact any of that, sadly. That's all I got for you today. It was kind of nice having a lot of room with no game. Start tonight in Anaheim, and that's going to be interesting. We'll cover it. It'll be fun. Mike Trout. Glad Mike Trout's healthy. I am. I love watching Mike Trout play baseball, and I think he's only been healthy when the Pirates played him maybe once. So I'm kind of excited to see him play a little bit. I like baseball enough that I like watching stars, so forgive me if that's sacrilege to you. Thank you for making Locked On Pirates your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's go Bucks.